Number 7. The unreasonable effectiveness of mathematics. You can describe the orbit of every planet in the solar system with a single equation. You can predict the exact position of a comet 200 years from now with a handful of numbers. You can calculate the energy released by a nuclear reaction before you ever build the bomb. Mathematics does not just describe the universe, it predicts it. To a degree of precision that is, when you stop and think about it, genuinely disturbing. In 1960, physicist Eugene Wigner at Princeton published an essay called The Unreasonable Effectiveness of Mathematics in the Natural Sciences. The title was not rhetorical. He meant it literally. Mathematics has no business being this good at describing physical reality. It was developed by human minds to solve human problems. Counting grain, measuring land, tracking debts. It is a tool we invented for bookkeeping. And yet when physicists point that tool at the quantum vacuum, at curved spacetime, at the interior of a neutron star, it works, not approximately. Exactly. Paul Dirac wrote down an equation in 1928 to describe the electron. The equation predicted a particle no one had ever seen, with opposite charge and identical mass. 4 years later, Carl Anderson found it in a cloud chamber. The positron. The equation knew about a piece of reality before reality revealed it. Maxwell's equations predicted electromagnetic waves decades before anyone detected them. Einstein's field equations predicted gravitational lensing, frame dragging, and black holes long before any telescope confirmed a single one. The math keeps arriving before the discovery, not after. If mathematics were just a language we invented, this would be like writing a novel and then finding out the characters are real. That does not happen with any other human invention. Poetry does not predict planetary orbits. Music does not anticipate particle physics. Only mathematics does this. Only mathematics reaches into the unknown and pulls out things that turn out to be there. Wigner called it a gift we neither understand nor deserve. He was not being modest. He was afraid. Because if math is just a tool, it should not work this well. And if it is not just a tool, then the question is what it actually is. The most useful thing humans ever built has no explanation for why it works. Number 6. The universe reduces to numbers. Take any physical object, your body, a star, a hydrogen atom. Now describe it completely. Not with words, not with images, with numbers. The hydrogen atom is a proton and an electron. The proton has a mass of 1.6726 2 times 10 to the negative 27 kilograms. The electron has a charge of 1.602 times 10 to the negative 19 coulombs. The distance between them in the ground state is 5.29 times 10 to the negative 11 meters. The force between them is described by Coulomb's constant. The energy levels are given by the Rydberg formula. Strip away everything and what is left is numbers, not particles, not stuff. Numbers, properties. MIT cosmologist Max Tegmark made this point explicitly. If you ask what an electron is, physics gives you a list. Mass, charge, spin, lepton number. These are all numbers. There is no property of the electron that is not a number. There is nothing you can say about it that is not expressible as a mathematical quantity. If every physical property of the electron is a number and numbers are mathematical objects, then what exactly is the electron besides a mathematical object? This is not philosophy. This is observation. The standard model of particle physics contains 19 free parameters, 19 numbers. Those 19 numbers, combined with the equations of quantum field theory, describe every particle interaction ever measured. Every force, every decay, every collision. The entire complexity of the physical world, from quarks to quasars, compresses into 19 numbers and a set of equations. The universe does not behave as if it is described by math. It behaves as if it is made of math. There is nothing left over, no residue, no stuff that the equations cannot reach. Take the numbers away and there is no electron. There is nothing. The properties are the particle. The math is the matter. 19 numbers and a set of equations. That is everything. All of it. You included. Number 5. Infinite complexity from 5 characters. Take a complex number c. Set z equal to 0. Now iterate. Z equals z squared plus c. Repeat. That is the instruction. 5 characters. 1 operation. And what it produces is the Mandelbrot set. You have probably seen it. The black bulbous shape with spiraling tendrils extending in every direction. But you have not seen it. Because you cannot. Nobody can. The Mandelbrot set contains infinite complexity. Zoom into the boundary and you find spirals. Zoom into the spirals and you find smaller copies of the original shape. Zoom into those copies and you find new patterns. Seahorses, elephants, branching structures that look biological. Spirals nested inside spirals nested inside spirals. There is no bottom. There is no end. You can zoom forever and keep finding things no human being has ever seen before. All of it generated by 5 characters. Nobody designed this. Nobody told the equation to produce seahorses. Nobody programmed the infinite regress of self-similar shapes. The complexity was already there, encoded in the mathematics, waiting to be discovered. Not invented. Discovered. And here is the part that should stop you. The Mandelbrot set has infinite detail. Our physical universe does not. The universe is finite. It has a finite number of particles, a finite amount of energy, a finite age. The Mandelbrot set exceeds the universe in complexity. It is bigger than the thing it is supposedly contained within. Mathematics contains structures richer than physical reality. If math were just a tool we invented to describe the universe, the tool should not be larger than the thing it describes. You do not invent a measuring tape longer than the universe, unless the measuring tape was already there, unless the mathematics is not inside the universe, unless the universe is inside the mathematics. 5 characters, infinite complexity, more structure than the entire physical cosmos, and nobody put it there. It was always there. The equation did not create it. It revealed it. Number 4, the constants that have no right to be what they are. There are roughly 26 fundamental constants in physics. The speed of light, the gravitational constant, Planck's constant, the fine structure constant, the mass of the electron. Each one is a number, and each one, as far as physics can determine, could have been different, but if any of them were different, you would not be here to notice. In 1999, astronomer Royal Martin Rees published just 6 numbers, identifying 6 constants that define the structure of the universe. Change the nuclear efficiency factor from 0.007 to 0.006, and no element heavier than hydrogen can form. Change it to 0.008, and no hydrogen survives the Big Bang. The window is absurdly narrow. Make gravity slightly stronger and stars burn through their fuel in millions of years instead of billions. Not enough time for evolution. Make the strong nuclear force 2% stronger and protons bind to protons. Chemistry ceases to exist. In 1953, Fred Hoyle realized that carbon could only exist in the quantities we observe if the carbon-12 nucleus had an energy resonance near 7.68 mega-electronvolts. He told experimentalists at Caltech to look for it. They found it at 7.68 plus or minus 0.03. Hoyle predicted a physical property of a nucleus from the fact that he existed to ask the question. A prediction from existence itself. Now ask the question that physics cannot answer. Why these numbers? Why 0.007 and not 0.006? Why this gravitational constant and not one slightly different? Physics describes what the constants are. It cannot explain why they are what they are. There is no equation that produces them. They are inputs, not outputs. They are the settings, not the results. If the universe is made of math, then these constants are not arbitrary. They are part of a specific mathematical structure. One structure among possibly infinite others. You exist inside one set of numbers. And those numbers had to be exactly what they are, or you would not be here to read them. That is either the greatest coincidence in existence or the signature of a structure that was never random to begin with. The numbers run the universe. Nothing runs the numbers. Number 3. Gödel broke mathematics from the inside. In 1931, a 25-year-old Austrian mathematician named Kurt Gödel proved that mathematics is broken, not in a practical sense. Bridges still stand, rockets still fly, GPS still works, but in a foundational, structural, irreversible sense that mathematicians have been quietly horrified by for nearly a century. Gödel's first incompleteness theorem says this: in any consistent mathematical system powerful enough to describe basic arithmetic, there will always exist true statements that cannot be proven within that system. Always. No exceptions. No escape. No matter how many axioms you add, no matter how cleverly you construct your system, there will always be truths that are true and unreachable. His second theorem is worse. No such system can prove its own consistency. Mathematics cannot look in the mirror and confirm it is not lying to you. Now apply this to the universe. If the universe is a mathematical structure, as Tegmark proposes, then Gödel's theorems apply to it. There will be facts about the universe that are true, but that no theory within the universe can ever prove. There will be questions about reality that reality itself cannot answer, not because we are not smart enough, because the structure does not allow it. This is not a limitation of technology or intelligence. It is a limitation of mathematics itself. The most rigorous, most certain, most airtight system the human mind has ever constructed contains truths it will never be able to reach. Locked rooms in a house it built itself, with keys that cannot exist inside the house. And here is the connection that nobody wants to make. If the universe is math, and math is incomplete, then the universe is incomplete. There are things about reality that are real and true and will never be knowable by anything inside reality. Not by humans, not by aliens, not by any intelligence operating within the structure. You are living inside a system that has been mathematically proven to contain answers it can never give you. And Gödel proved that in 1931 with a pencil and paper sitting in Vienna. Number 2. The computable universe. In 1936, Alan Turing defined what it means for something to be computable. A problem is computable if a theoretical machine, following a finite set of rules, can solve it in a finite number of steps. This is the foundation of every computer ever built, every program, every algorithm, every simulation. Now look at physics. Every fundamental law of nature appears to be computable. You can simulate gravity. You can simulate quantum mechanics. You can simulate particle collisions, fluid dynamics, electromagnetic fields, chemical reactions. Everything we have ever observed in the physical world can, in principle, be computed. No exception has ever been found. Tegmark noticed this. He proposed the computable universe hypothesis, that only mathematical structures whose functions are computable have physical existence. If a mathematical structure requires infinite steps to resolve, it does not manifest. If it can be computed, it exists. This is the same territory the simulation hypothesis lives in, but it is deeper. The simulation hypothesis asks whether someone is running the computation. The computable universe hypothesis says the computation does not need to be run. If a mathematical structure is self-consistent and computable, it exists by virtue of being possible. Implementation is not required. The possibility alone is enough. Think about what that means. Nobody has to press start. Nobody has to build the hardware. Nobody has to write the code. If a mathematical structure can, in principle, be computed, it already has the status of physical existence. It exists because it can. Your universe is not a program running on a machine. It is a mathematical structure that was always valid, always complete, always there. The computation is the reality, not a description of the reality, not a model of the reality. The reality itself. Every simulation you have ever seen on a computer screen is a crude approximation of a mathematical structure that already exists in full resolution, in full complexity, in perfect precision, in the space of all possible mathematics. Your computer does not create the simulation. It points a flashlight at something that was already in the dark. You do not live in a universe that can be described by a computation. You live in one that is a computation, one that nobody needs to run. Number 1, you are a mathematical structure. Everything you have just heard leads here, and this is the one that should follow you out of this video. In 2007, MIT cosmologist Max Tegmark published The Mathematical Universe in Foundations of Physics. The argument proceeds in 4 steps. First, there exists an external physical reality independent of human minds. Most scientists accept this. Second, that reality is describable by mathematics. Physics has demonstrated this for 4 centuries. Third, the mathematical description is complete. There is nothing about physical reality that escapes mathematical formulation. No leftover stuff, no residue, no non-mathematical remainder. And fourth, if the mathematical description of reality is complete, if there is nothing about reality that is not captured by the math, then the math is not describing something else. It is the thing itself. Mathematical existence and physical existence are the same thing. This is the mathematical universe hypothesis, and its implication is staggering. If mathematical existence equals physical existence, then every self-consistent mathematical structure is a physically existing universe. Not metaphorically, literally. The set of integers with the rules of arithmetic is a universe. Every valid solution to every valid set of equations is a reality. Tegmark calls this the level 4 multiverse, an infinity of universes, each one a different mathematical structure, each one as real as this one. And you are a self-aware substructure within one of them. Your thoughts are mathematical operations. Your memories are mathematical states. Your feeling of existing right now, in this moment, reading these words, is a pattern of information processing that is fully described, fully captured, and fully contained within a mathematical object. There is nothing about you that is not math. Not your fear, not your love, not the voice in your head that is right now deciding whether to believe this. That voice is math too. Wigner asked why mathematics is so effective at describing the universe. Tegmark's answer is that the question is backwards. Mathematics does not describe the universe. The universe does not contain mathematics. The universe is mathematics. And so are you. Every atom, every thought, every moment you have ever experienced. A pattern in a structure that was never built, never started, and never needed a cause. Because mathematical truths do not begin. They do not end. They simply are. You have been standing on mathematics your entire life. Every equation in physics told you this. Every constant confirmed it. Every symmetry whispered it. And Gödel proved that the structure you are standing in contains truths about yourself that you will never be able to reach. You are math, and the math has no bottom. If you want to see more videos like this, click the video on screen now and make sure to subscribe.